What's up, guys? We're back with another chat in the woods. So I have a deep topic to talk about today, but first off, I thank you to all my boys. Subscribe to me. Thank y'all. I love y'all. If you're seeing this, it does mean a lot to me. And thank you to my brother Hisham. Not a real brother. That's my big brother. Not by blood, but like, that's actually my guy. And he basically, I'm already lost. He gave me a good bit of advice on my video and was telling me all things that I could do better. And I really appreciate that. And I'm going to try and listen to a lot of his advice that he gave me today. So today's topic of the day is going to be loss. Now, loss is a very deep thing. There's lots of different things that you can lose in life. You could lose a friend just by stop being friends. You could lose a relationship, a family member, whether that's through disassociation and them disconnecting, or that is them not talking to you anymore, or anything along those lines. It hurts. It hurts people a lot. In some circumstances, you end up grieving over the person that you lose, and it's a sad thing, but it's a natural thing, and it's natural to lose people, which is part of why it makes it so hard, because at some point, everyone has to accept that losing someone is a part of life, and it's such a deep concept for me, and I think for a lot of people too, that, you know, eventually we'll all pass away and go to heaven, and we'll have everyone there, which is a good thing to think about. But, you know, people pass away and people leave your life, sometimes for a short period of time and then sometimes forever. And that's definitely just something that we all need to learn to accept. The year 2025 has not treated me the greatest. I've lost a lot, and I've been really thinking about that, and that's why it's today's topic. Minor losses and major losses. Obviously, I'm still living in a situation that I'm very blessed to be in, so I really don't have much room to complain at all. But, you know, there's things that get you down at points in your life, and it's your own job to kind of pick yourself back up and keep moving forward. But I guess I'll start off going into the year. I had a tight-knit group of friends, I'd say. A little bit of a small group, but well, they were good guys, really good guys. And as I had built up my relationship with my at the time girlfriend, one of those friends wasn't the biggest fan of her, and he ended up like just completely shutting me out. He says it was because of other reasons, but I think I know why, because of her. So that was like, that upset me. It was a mild thing, because it was almost like a trade out, and it's not a great thing, having a trade out of people in your lives. Like, people shouldn't be treated. You know, everyone should be loved equally. But that's kind of what happened. It didn't bum me out that much, but it did a little bit, because it was one of my closest friends, and life moves on. That one I didn't struggle with very much at all, but later on I experienced, so I think it was around April, when my dog started getting really sick, and my dog that I've had since I was maybe like 6 or 7. I'm being philosophical here, and I just made a 6'7" joke. I don't care. But yeah, had this dog. Her name was Kimber for the longest time. And fun fact: the trail that I'm actually walking right now, I discovered when I was walking her. I got done a track meet, and on my way home, my dad told me that we were going to be putting her down later that day. And I kind of saw it coming, but I didn't expect it to be that soon. And it was really, really challenging, just having to experience that and like being there when it all happened and watching her like kind of, I guess, just take her last breath. And it was challenging, but one thing that really helped me get through that was just realizing that she's going to be in a much better place now and that she's happy. Like, I would think that every single animal probably is living it up at heaven right now, especially Kimber. She is living it up there. So that makes me happy. It brings me joy. And I know that Jesus is taking good care of my dog. Yeah, and then moving on. Then maybe 2-3 months later, my grandpa passed away, which was also pretty upsetting. I wasn't the closest with him, but it is my grandpa, and it was my mom's dad. So seeing how it affected my mom and how it affected the people around her really hit me hard, because it doesn't, when you lose someone, especially a family member, you're not the only one that's hurt from it. It hurts a community. And I think that real strength in that situation comes from being able to put a smile on your face and just being able to be supportive and be there for the people in your community hurting. Oh, low power. I think that's where real strength lies, in being able to obviously take the time for yourself, heal from the pains that you're feeling, but also remember that there are people in the world that are also hurting, and being able to be there to help them is real strength. And I feel like I could have done more to support my mom in that situation. And it's best not to look back on things and regret and say woulda, coulda, shoulda, but there's always time for reflection. And when I reflect on that situation, I think that I could have done more. But next point is, throughout this year, I've built up a 9-month-long relationship, and then had to shut things off, and it was my decision. But it was just, that was hard because it was my decision to say goodbye and to let go and to lose someone that I was the closest to in my life. And to be honest, I don't know how to lend anyone any advice on that sort of situation, because to be honest, I don't really know what I'm doing as of right now. I just am moving forward one day at a time. We made it to the creek. One day at a time, and I'm just really focusing on myself, which I didn't hurt a community when I broke up with my girlfriend, but I hurt her. And part of that, like, because having a big heart, I want to be there for her to help her, but I can't do that. It hurt me too. I need to focus on me a little bit here, but I can't be in contact with her because this is not right. It's just going to keep her holding on to something that needs to be let go of. And I think that that's what really a lot of people should try and do when they lose something, is simply let go. And, you know, I talked about that a lot in my last video, letting go. But, you know, you have to trust in God's plan for you. And you can't be dwelling on the footsteps behind you, because when an obstacle hits you in front of you and you're looking behind you, you're going to trip and fall. You don't want to trip and fall. You just got to keep moving forward. Keep your eyes forward, keep your feet forward. Can't be stumbling behind you, because, you know, if you're looking back and you're trying to go back, then it's simple, but how are you supposed to move forward with your life? How are you supposed to improve as a person if you're taking backward steps instead of forward steps? People like to say, like, 1 foot in front of the other, or one day at a time. And how are you supposed to do any of that if you're trying to go one day in the past or 1 foot behind the other? It's just never going to work. Now that brings me to my next point of not losing someone, but losing something. Because as an athlete, I experience a lot of loss. I'm not a great athlete. I'm a good athlete. I'm not going to, like, talk down on myself or anything. I'm a good athlete. But I'm not exceptional. I don't win every single competition I go to. I actually haven't won a competition, or I'm a track runner, so a meet or a race. I haven't won any races in a very long time. I don't remember. That's how long ago it was. And when you lose a competition, in my mind, there's two ways to go about it. Well, 3. 2 good ways, 1 bad way. And the 2 good ways really intertwine with each other. And that being, the 2 good ones being trusting in the Lord and in the Lord's plan, because if you weren't meant to win, then you're not going to win. And it's just, you know, sometimes the Lord has different plans, and whatever he has planned, it's much, much greater than that win in that track meet or that football game you were going to win or anything like that. And then there's that, along with allowing it to motivate you to work harder, to push yourself, to really strive for greatness. And I think that those 2 really intertwine together, because when you fall down, you need to get back up, and you need to trust in the process. And trusting in the process is trusting in God's plan for you, along with just being motivated to trust the process. And if you trust the process, then you're going to want to work harder at that process. And that's going to allow you to really just move on from that loss. Now, the bad way to go about it, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to be done because my phone's going to die. I hope it doesn't die before that. But when you take a loss, you feel a lot of negative emotions and feelings. You get angry, you get upset, disappointed, anxious, worried, all these negative emotions. And that's just, there's really no point in feeling that way. And it's much easier said than done. I would know. I didn't have a good race last Friday and I was angry. But really coming to control those emotions, those angry, sad emotions, will allow you to be able to move on from losses and really drive yourself forward. So, loss is an important part of everyone's lives. Sum things up. And part of moving on from loss is letting go, trusting in God's plan, and putting one foot in front of the other instead of one foot behind. Peace, y'all. Love you.